Okay, so for this tutorial, we'll need some arch paper. I've taken a sheet of arch paper and I've folded it in half and folded it in half again. So you end up with like a 4 by 6 inch piece, and you can just tape it on top of a construction paper at the end. So you're not wasting tons of paper, and it's not so thick and heavy that when you go to mail it, you don't have a great card. It's kind of too heavy to mail. And this is perfect for beginners, or just want to have some fun. I'll be using like a Princeton 10 round, Princeton 8 long round from the Aqua Elite series, playing around with that. So I'll start with my 10. I actually might even use my 12 too. We're thinking about like greens and holly and pine needles and all that good stuff. And you don't need to draw everything out. You can kind of have a plan, like taking a pencil, just kind of like putting a branch kind of here. I'm just lightly kind of drawing where a branch would be, kind of like on an angle from right to left, going downward, right? But we're just gonna basically paint them. And if you haven't done, like, I'm gonna take some scrap paper, compound strokes. If you're new to watercolor and you have never done compound strokes, I'm grabbing a piece of scrap paper, the back of this. So compound stroke, mix up some paint here. I'll mix some greens just to mix it up the paint here. So cadmium yellow deep and Prussian blue, make a nice green. And I'm grabbing my 10 round. So it's the way you push down and lift up on the paintbrush. Now I'm just mixing some paint here. I use two paints because it's activated easier. I like holbein because I like the bright colors. Everyone has their own personal preference. So compound stroke is basically filling up the paintbrush here with the paint and maybe get a little bit looser. So this is kind of consistency right now is like basically milk. I fill up the whole barrel, this part of the paintbrush, the ball, and I'm just going to push down and then lift my hand up like that. Right? So pushing down and lifting up, that's a compound stroke. So we'll be doing things like that where you're pushing down and lifting up, right? And then you can use the tip, just kind of wiggle back and forth, holding it like this, maybe up like this, to get pine needles, right? If you're doing the compound stroke, get it a little bit looser. So you can push down, you can kind of connect them, make a bigger leaf. Or you have a bigger brush and push down, lift up a skinny leaf, things like that. And for a holly, you just kind of wiggle and fill her in. Okay, pushing down and lifting up. That's a compound stroke. We'll be doing lots of those. And then just kind of wiggling your brush with the tip for needles. Voila, that's a little quick lesson. So I showed you how to mix up that paint, right? I'm gonna take some, like my long round brush first. I'm gonna grab some burnt sienna. Love this color. And I'm gonna mix it with some ultramarine blue deep. Now you'll see me mix these two colors a lot. They make all kinds of browns and grays. And I see the consistency of the color. That means how loose it is, how much water I've added. And when I talk about tea and coffee and milk, think about the actual product of tea, coffee, milk. Is it really loose like that? Can you move the paint like this? And so I'm going to add a little bit more burnt sienna. You could just use a brown. Works for you. Like burnt umber. Here's burnt umber. Just use that if it works for you. I like to make my browns too, because various tones, and water it down. And if you don't like it too dark, you can just tap it on a paper towel and make it lighter. Right? And then we'll take our brush. I'm just kind of holding it up here and kind of like tilting it this way and kind of wiggling, pushing down like a stem. My paintbrush. It's got a great long point, so I can kind of go like this to make some branches. Kind of, you play with this. But then you're not drawing it, you're just drawing it with the paintbrush. Go out here, and then maybe the little branches here. Maybe you can put some holly kind of poking over in here, right? That's pretty quick. And now I've got some greens mixed up here already. Well, just one. You can mix up some darker greens. So a darker green, same Prussian blue. It's a very staining color, so which means it stays on the paper, which I like. A little bit of cadmium yellow deep and a little bit of burnt umber, so that turns that bluish green into like a more forest type of green. Just diluting and toning it down, getting rid of that blue tone. Now that's a really deep dark green. And we've got this lighter medium green. I can add this color to here. And we grab more yellow and it gets even lighter. So you want like various tones of green. If you mix ultramarine blue deep with yellow, get a muted type of sagey kind of green. So there's all kinds of ways to play with this. So I might grab that sagey kind of green when I mix the ultramarine blue deep with the yellow. Again, take this, wiggle back and forth, even dip in my water to loosen up this color, make it lighter, like a pale bluish gray. And I'm wiggling back and forth, and I'm creating needles, pine needles. Just jiggity jaggedy, like that, like this. Look how cute that looks. Right? Jiggity jaggedy, and we get some pine needles. Same thing with this. Grab this brush, even the lighter yellow one. Kind of go over that. Now we can make some different kind of greens happening over here. You know, we have that stem there. We can add some more greens. We can make different stems. So I can go back over here with my brown and kind of go like this down here. Woohoo. And I'll switch brushes because it's a long one. Remember, it's very pointy. Just a round brush. It's not as pointy and long. Grab my yellow green. And I could just kind of push down and kind of connect it to that stem. Right on top of what we just did. See? We're just making a kind of a fun, loose green. Holiday greens. Connecting to that stem. Now those look a little too even. I'm going to kind of bend some of these. Going this way and that way. That's pretty much how you do that. Now I've got that deeper green. Let's make some holly. And so you kind of just a swooping kind of motion here. Swoop, swoop. And then you're going to kind of fill it in. And you can get a little more technical if you have to draw out the holly. I'm just drawing a basic type of holly. Let's do another one. Right here. Those little like swoopy lines. Almost like you're making little mountains and then connect them. I'm going to do another one kind of here. I'm putting this on top of the other ones, by the way, as you know, if you've not noticed by now. Right? Kind of put another one here. And you just play with where you're going to put the placement of this. And look, it's not perfect holly. It's not this. You know what it is. If you guys think like, oh, I messed up the little lines and the little loops, it's okay, because like mine's all pretty messed up. And I'll do a little small one kind of poking here. All right, so we've got some holly. Now I'm going to mix these greens over here. I'll just put some other kind of fun greens, maybe the round kind of, kind of like a eucalyptus going this way. And then I'm going to grab my brush. Got some more yellow. We want some more chartreuse looking greens here. Just put a line down here and kind of make these little pine needles kind of drooping down. So we got this kind of fun greenery happening here. And none of it is perfect. I'm going to go over here, just wiggling my brush. But it's really cute, right? I've got a lot of greens and browns. My brown got kind of diluted. I can get the thicker with my two paints here and get it darker. See? Go right back in there. You can even use the brown to your advantage. I'm going to put little lines here. I'm going to add some berries here in a second. Just placement. And for berries, I love this color we have with holbein called Pyrol Rubin. Now you could just use this color alone by itself, which I do often, but I might add a little cadmium red light to it. Just take it more of a Christmassy red. I think the Pyrol Rubin's a great red for Christmas, but I just add a touch of that cadmium red light. feels more like Christmas red. Now I'm just going to basically make some circles. You can leave a little white and not fill it all the way in. So it's kind of like a highlight. And then go over some of these greens. And if it blends or bleeds, that's kind of the whole point. You're kind of making this really loose greenery card. Kind of cluster the berries. Don't have them like soldier berries, as I call people who make grass, soldier grass, where they're all lined up like this. They need to be in a cluster. Right? And put some down here. And move them around the paper. Don't keep them all in one place. So they're more interesting. A couple of little random randos can be up there and down here. You could do a very large cluster, which would be interesting. And we'll have to add some stems to that. You can paint it first and then add stems later, or add the stems first and then paint it. Now I got this red kind of turned a little brown because there was a brown color there that was loose, and there you go. You can have it go off the paper. And a few like in here near the berry, near the holly. Look how cute already. That's kind of it, right? Now I've let this seep in. I might get a little bit thicker of my yellowish green. And there's a reason for this. I'll tell you in a minute. Going over my little greens here. So right now I love the way it looks. But I love to do this thing where I kind of lift up the paint. By the way, another thing to have close by is some gold paint. You can add some gold accents to this, right? So I'm going to just remove some of this color here. And now we'll take a bigger brush. I generally like to use a flat wash brush for this technique. I have a Princeton 3/4 inch flat wash brush. Now you don't have to do anything to this. You can just leave it as is, add some gold accents, boom, you're good to go, right? Don't touch a thing. Awesome. But I love to do this thing where you've seen a lot of my videos where I kind of release the paint. It's already seeped into the paper. You have to wait till it's kind of seeped in, right? If it's already wet, it's not going to work as well. And I'm just taking clear water on my brush and just kind of hitting the paint, just touching the side and moving it. I can go in and grab some paint while I'm doing that, like I did, just to grab a little green here and kind of move that. So what it kind of does is it kind of erases what you put down, but leave the mark still there. Now, when you hit the red part, you want to wait a few minutes because what happens is that the red next to the green can turn brown. So I'm lifting this a little bit. So I move the paint and now I'm lifting it. See, lifting like a mop. Okay. You can add some color too. You can add like a gray, and here's a ultramarine blue deep and a little bit of burnt sienna. A bit more blue and then brown. So I'll loosen that color up. Very, very loose. Look how wet that is. A lot of water. Put some of this out here instead of keeping it all green, but you can keep it all green. And now I'm going to clean up my brush, and now I'm going to start to move the green out. And I can add a little green. So you're adding like another color, another element. Just changes it up. Now remember, be careful with the red. I'm going to slowly go around the red parts. So I'm kind of erasing these guys. I keep a paper towel close by because I tap back onto it. Generally I do something like this very large, and I stand up and I do it so I can see what I'm doing. It's difficult when you're sitting down. But the look of this technique is kind of fun. It's kind of my thing. I love it. Like I said, don't have to do it. You could kept it the way it was, or you can just have fun and play with lifting the color and seeing what magic happens on your little piece of paper. And you don't have to do every section. You can just do one little section. Now I'm going to just kind of wipe some of the red. Look at that. It's just fun. I'm sorry. I just love doing this. You just have a little more fun. And it makes the picture a little bit more interesting. Now you can still see the elements. That's why I say you wait till it kind of is a little bit dry. And then you go in. Now you can wait till it's completely dry after you do this and go add some more stuff. But it's my fun way of having fun, because that's what it's all about. Why are you here? You're supposed to have fun. By the way, I just taped the corners of the paper. I'm going to lift this up now. Just hold it in place, and then I'm going to fill that corner in. This one, because I don't want to have a white corner. It's going to look weird. So, there. Just finished that. And look how sweet that came out, right? Very sweet. Love, love, love. And you can go and play with like adding in more color while it's damp and wet. Like I grabbed some of this darker green. Tap that color a little bit. So it's a little bit more abstract. This green and brown. After you've all painted it in. But I love it. And minimal time. Isn't that cool? Super fun. I hope you had fun doing it. Hope you learned something. Okay, so once it's dry, you can take this gold paint. I have this palette paint. There's something similar in my Amazon shop. I don't even know what name this is. There's no name underneath, so I don't know where it came from. But I have something attached in my Amazon shop that's similar. And you could just take the gold paint and go around some of these little balls, these little ballies of holly, little lines of the holly, excuse me, the balls of the berries. I'm losing it. And the holly, just little doodads and this and that. And then you can also just take it and splatter a little bit. I'm going to turn it around this way, splatter it towards this way, going downward. Look how cool this is. Just a little bit, not everywhere. Just a little on the edge, right? Just a little bit on the edge. Look at that. Cool. Then just take a piece of black construction paper or red or yellow, whatever, and bam, you have this gorgeous card. Beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a Patreon member, you get the additional tutorial, which is the vase, and how to do all this kind of fun stuff. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link in the description box below. It's where you get all kinds of extra stuff, exclusive tutorials that are really long. I just did one that was like 90 minutes. That was a really cool Christmas tutorial. Go check it out. You get first dibs in watercolor workshops and retreats. I do giveaways on my Facebook group, all kinds of fun stuff. And you have a little nice community over there. And of course, if you're a super Patreon, we do a live stream. I'm actually having a live stream coming up. So once a month, we have a live stream where you can ask questions live. And we have a lot of fun painting. It's like a live painting class. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed painting this really loose greenery Christmas card. Like I said, it's all kind of muted. You can go back in if you wanted to, if you've like lost too much of your holly, and just kind of fill in a little bit of the edges like I'm doing now. I go, oh, I don't like that. I want to have more holly edge. You can do that, but it's such a fun way to play with paint and watercolor, especially if you're just starting out. And you can see those brush strokes that I showed you called compound strokes. All right, guys, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.